Sir Christopher Frank Carandini Lee, born on May 27, 1922, in London, England, was a legendary actor, singer, and author, best known for his iconic portrayals of horror film villains. With a career spanning over 7 decades, Lee's contribution to cinema is immense, particularly in the genres of horror, fantasy, and science fiction. He was a towering figure in the film industry, leaving behind a legacy that transcended acting. Early life and family background. Christopher Lee was born into a family with a rich heritage. His father, Geoffrey Trollope Lee, was a lieutenant colonel in the British Army, while his mother, Estelle Marie, was the daughter of an Italian baron. Lee's ancestry included several notable figures, including Italian nobility. Lee's parents divorced when he was just a child, and he lived primarily with his mother. His upbringing exposed him to the arts and literature, and he developed an early interest in reading, music, and drama. Lee attended the prestigious Wellington College in Berkshire and later enrolled in the University of Paris, where he studied languages and literature. He served in the Royal Air Force, RAF, during World War II as a pilot officer and was stationed in several locations, including North Africa and Italy. After the war, Lee briefly worked for an airline before returning to his passion for acting. The beginning of his acting career. Lee's professional acting career began in the early 1940s. He joined the Rank Organization, where he trained as an actor, and made his screen debut in 1948 in the film Corridors of Blood. However, it was not until 1957 that he would gain significant recognition. That year, Lee was cast as the monstrous Count Dracula in the Hammer horror film Horror of Dracula, 1958, directed by Terence Fisher. His portrayal of the vampire Count Dracula would become one of his defining roles. Lee's performance as Dracula in Horror of Dracula was chilling and charismatic, setting the tone for his career in horror films. His towering figure, deep voice, and commanding presence made him a natural fit for playing villains and supernatural creatures. Over the next few years, Lee would reprise the role of Dracula in several sequels, cementing his status as one of the most iconic horror stars of his generation. Success in horror and genre films. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Lee became synonymous with the Hammer horror franchise, playing characters in films such as The Mummy, 1959, The Curse of Frankenstein, 1957, The Devil Rides Out, 1968, and The Wicker Man, 1973. His roles were often those of villains, monsters, or supernatural beings, which he portrayed with an intensity that captivated audiences. In addition to his work with Hammer, Lee found success in other genre films. He appeared in numerous spy films, including the James Bond series, where he played the villain Francisco Scaramanga in The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. Lee's versatility allowed him to transcend his association with horror, and he went on to appear in films like The Three Musketeers, 1973, and its sequel The Four Musketeers, 1974, where he played the villainous Roquefort. Transition to new generations. Despite his success in horror films, Lee never wanted to be typecast. In the 1980s and 1990s, he embraced a variety of roles in different genres, including science fiction and fantasy. In 2001, Lee's career reached new heights with his role as the wizard Saruman in Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. His portrayal of Saruman, the dark wizard who aligns with Sauron, was a highlight of the trilogy and introduced Lee to a new generation of fans. Lee's association with fantasy films continued in the Star Wars saga, where he played Count Dooku in Star Wars, Episode II Attack of the Clones, 2002, and Episode III Revenge of the Sith, 2005. Lee's dignified performance as the Sith Lord in George Lucas' legendary franchise was another testament to his enduring talent and appeal. Later career and personal life. Lee's acting career did not slow down in his later years. He continued to appear in films well into his 80s, with roles in movies such as The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, 2012, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, 2014, and Hercules, 2014. His voice was also featured in animated films, and he remained a sought-after actor for projects across various genres. Beyond acting, Christopher Lee was an accomplished singer and musician. He released several albums, primarily in the metal genre, including Charlemagne, By the Sword and the Cross, 2010, an album that told the story of Charlemagne, the first Holy Roman Emperor. His deep voice and interest in classical music made him a natural fit for this genre. Lee was married to Birgit Krank, a former Austrian actress, from 1961 until his death. The couple had one child, a daughter named Christina. Lee was known to be a private individual, but he maintained a strong connection with his fans and his work. He was knighted in 2002 for his services to drama and charity, and in 2011, he was awarded the title of Commander of the Order of Arts and Letters by the French government for his contributions to film and culture. Death and legacy. Christopher Lee passed away on June 7, 2015, at the age of 93, following a heart failure. His death marked the end of an era for the film industry, and tributes poured in from fans, filmmakers, and colleagues alike. Lee's impact on cinema, particularly in the horror, fantasy, and science fiction genres, is immeasurable. His portrayal of villains and iconic characters has made him a beloved figure in pop culture.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.